Hey everybody, welcome into episode 25 of my YouTube journey. Tonight we're going to look at some epic images that became card images. These photos, maybe you're aware of these, maybe you're not, but we're going to look at them alongside some cards that I own that I'm really proud of. So it's going to be a card looking episode. If you like my videos and if you've been enjoying this, hit that subscribe button. It helps ensure that you see my stuff, whether it's my videos, any of the Odd Couple episodes, any of those things. It really helps my videos get out there. So a lot of times you watch, maybe you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. These photos were taken by photographers, whether it was for Topps, Bowman, whoever. They became iconic cards. And a lot of times their names have been lost to history, but you know that later on, they were so proud of the fact they took that photo of Mantle or Ted Williams or Willie Mays or whoever it was, and they would share that card with their kids and grandkids and say, yeah, I took that picture. That had to be a sense of pride for them. And we don't really know who a lot of these people are. So we're going to look at those tonight, and it's really interesting too how they colored them, how they changed from the photo image to the card image. And a lot of times you don't even think about the fact that, yeah, that's an image on a card, but that was actually a photograph at one time. So we're going to look at those. Thanks so much for all the great feedback we got from the first Odd Couple episode. Me and Mike really enjoyed all the text and the messages on our video and everything. We had a lot of fun with that. We're looking forward to putting some more out. We'll, again, do one a month. So the next one's going to be the 1st of April. And we're going to do that kind of leading into the Strongsville show. And then the Monday night after Strongsville. So we're coming home on Sunday. While it's fresh in our mind, we're going to do our first live. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have a couple of guys on there that were at Strongsville with us. We're going to recount the show. We're going to talk about the fun times and the get-togethers and the trade night and all that kind of stuff. And it should be a lot of fun. I'd love for all y'all to show up, comment, ask questions, recount your times that you had, make fun of us, whatever you want to do. So we're going to look at some cards here in just a second, so hang on with me. All right, welcome back. Let's get the show going. I showed this one on my Chief Bender episode, and that's a great photo of Chief Bender there. And this is the card that photo goes with. It's his 1914, 1915 Cracker Jack card. They both have the same image. The only difference is the 14 has Philadelphia Americans and the 15 has Baltimore Terrapins on it. But you can see it's the same image, and pretty cool in it. So it's got the pillbox hat, got the A on his chest, and just a fantastic image of Chief Bender, one of the best dead ball pitchers of that era. The next one's a big one. This one right here is a Carl Horner image. And no, I'm not about to show you the T206 Hannes Wagner, but I do have the 1910-11 Sporting Life M116, and it is the exact same image from Carl Horner. The difference is they flipped the negative for this one. Now the T206, he is looking just like he is in this one. He is looking to his left. I guess his shoulder's back to the left. And on this one, and I've looked it over really good to make sure what I'm telling you is true, and it is. You can tell by the little loop of hair over here. He's got the same little loop of hair. The way his collar bunches up, the way this button right here and this, so it's been photo matched, I guess you could say, but it definitely is that image just flipped negative. Carl Horner really liked to mess with shadows. He did this based off of what he saw in Rembrandt paintings, and he thought it made the subject look more heroic. And he only took studio photos, and that's all he did. So this is what you see in all of the T206 cards that are the portrait cards. So that's that one. The next one, I showed this one on my Shoeless Joe Jackson episode. Check it out. And I showed some more Chief Benders on the Chief Bender too, so check that one out. But this is the W514 Shoeless Joe Jackson strip card, and they got blank backs, but it is a great image actually. To me, the W514 strip cards are the best of all the strip cards. They're not as goofy looking in my opinion. If you'll watch my Shoeless Joe episode, I show this card and the steps in which they would have made it. They basically took that image that we're looking at on this photo, and let me zoom in, and they would shade it in and then color it. And as you can tell, the Sox logo on his chest, they had to make a lot smaller to fit it into the image on the card. Whereas here you can see that this, to me, these Black Sox uniforms, they had the little black collar thing right here, and of course the pinstripes and the Sox logo is one of the most amazing. I love this uniform. Now the pants, I couldn't have wore those big old baggy pants they had on. That would have drove me insane trying to play in those, but I guess they were just used to it. So that's the image that makes that card. This one I had never really seen before and saw it lately, but let's see if you recognize this one. That is Joe Tinker, Hands on Knees, and from the T206 set. And you can see how much artistic work the people who produced these cards did on them, to put the sunset in the background and to make the green grass, color his uniform. And you'll notice something else. He had Chicago on his chest and not Cubs. So they even, took some liberties in that and changed it. But you can tell it's definitely the same image, the wrinkle of his pants, the way his glove sits on his knee, the expression on his face. So a lot of these images I found online were actually sales and auctions of original Type 1 photos. And so that's what this one is. That's why it's got the big stains, because it was really old. But there's no telling what a lot of these images sold for. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in the Type 1 photo market for any card image like that. This is another one of my favorites. If you recognize this one, this is the Stan Musial 1948 Bowman rookie card image. And, here you see it's exactly the same. They didn't really color it any. They went with the black and white. Didn't really change it. They just cropped it. But this is such an amazing image. I love the glove on his leg, and he's got his bat. You can see his sleeve right there. He's cut off. So he's got some strings hanging where he just probably took some of the medical tape scissors to it. You got a good view of the grandstand behind him, but it's just a fantastic image. I love this image too with how young he looks. Now, we know he started playing before this. This is his rookie card because World War II happened. So not really sure what year this image was taken, but I would be willing to bet it was before World War II. But just a young Stan Musial. It's a great card, great image. And then we get into these shots. So see if you recognize this one. This is the action photo that is a part of the 1956 Roberto Clemente. And as you can tell, this image was not colorized. I'm not really sure where this image was taken. I should have done some homework on this. I don't even know if anybody knows. I'm sure somebody does. But you can tell this is a block wall, and I'm not sure if that's some sort of padding right there, how it steps out. Not really sure, but imagine running into that bad boy. That would leave a mark. But it's just a beautiful image that a lot of times we take for granted on these cards that are, located in the double image of a card like the 56 cards. Of course, we know in the 56, the Hank Aaron actually has Willie Mays sliding in, so sometimes they're not exactly accurate, but in this case, you can see it is. They just colored it and filled it in behind his head. I love the colors they made it. I don't know if that's truly the colors they were. Doesn't really matter because it's just a great image of an all-time great athlete and a great player, and on top of that, a great person. This next one, see if you recognize this. So this is Duke Snider, of course, and this is his 1954 Bowman image. And you can see how much they colored it in, made it beautiful. I'm not sure what kind of techniques they used. I'm not a photo expert, but it's definitely the same image. These, I believe, I'm not sure where these photos were taken. It's just crazy to me. It looks like a studio photo to me, because all the clouds look the same, whether it's Mantle, whether it's Ted Williams. It doesn't matter. In these 54s, they all look the same in these profile, or not profile, but the close-up portrait images. So I'm not really sure if that's a backdrop or if that really was just that cloudy every day and they took those pictures. But that's the original photo, and how they dressed it up with some color. Put that one over here. And then you get into some of these that have the double images. And let's see if you recognize this. This was actually on several cards. But the one I'm going to show you is the 1954 Topps, Willie Mays. And you can tell they just cropped it and got his face there and colorized it. And it's honestly, this entire image of Willie is one of the better images of him, in my opinion. But, you know, cropped it up, got his face in there. It's just a great image of him. And then you have the action photo that's behind, or actually in front of him on this one. And you can see they got way up on a crane. I don't know what they were on, a big step ladder. But in this image right here on the card, you really can't tell, I couldn't anyways, that the picture was taken from that far above him. I mean, they're basically, 12, 15 feet in the air above him, and taking this really cool photo of him. But that's that image there for the 54. So on that one we have both. Then there's unique cards like this one. See if you recognize this one. It's a really cool card. It's the 54 Topps image, card number 139 of Ed and John O'Brien, and they were twins. And they were the up the middle guys for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And this is a great card, two brothers. Again, they were twin brothers. I think there was 5 sets of twins in Major League history that played on the same team. So it's a great card. Got an awesome back. The 54 backs, love them. But I love the orange backgrounds. This is the same background we see in Hank Aaron's rookie card. But in this image here, you see the dugout. They're on this top step here. You can see the back of the dugout into the grandstands. You got some people sitting up behind them. But it's just a great picture. You know their mother had to be so thrilled. I wonder how many of these cards that she had. and their daddy. I mean, it's just incredible that 2 twins would make it to the major leagues. And then to do a card. So this was Topps' first multiplayer card. So we know later on they did in 58. They had the Mantle and Aaron card, and then they had the Manager's Dream, and then in the 60s, well, that was in the 60s too, but they had all those multiplayer cards. But this was actually Topps' first. It is not the first card with brothers on it. The Wayner brothers were on cards. There were a couple pre-war guys. They were kind of not very well-known cards, but had brothers on the cards. And then the next one we're going to look at, you'll recognize right away. So this one, I'm only going to show one card, but Topps was pretty lazy in 54, 55, and 56, and used the same image for all of Hammer and Hank Aaron's cards. So this is a great image of Henry Aaron and how young he is, and got the Milwaukee Braves hat on, and you can see this is the card next to it. So just a great image. To me, this is the home run king. I'm not going to take those flowers away from him, because the way he did it. He didn't cheat to get it like another player I'll leave unnamed. I'm kind of bitter over that. But I love Hank Aaron. He's just a great man. He conducted himself with class and dignity in the face of racism. Um, he was the last player in playing in the major leagues who at one time had played in the Negro Leagues to retire. So when he retired in 1976, he was the last veteran of the Negro Leagues to retire from baseball. So guy has a great legacy, great card. And then there's also this image, and this is him fielding. And as you can see in the card image, he has a Milwaukee Braves hat on, but in this image, he has his Jacksonville hat on from his minor league days. So he played middle infield in the minor leagues, and they moved him to outfield when he got into the major leagues. They just needed his bat in the lineup. He made a lot of errors in the minor leagues, and so when he finally made it up to the majors, he was an outfielder. And then later on with the Milwaukee Brewers, a designated hitter. But that's both of the images on his 54 rookie card. And then there's another action shot, and see if you recognize this one. This is the Splendid Splinter, Ted Williams, and it's an image that you will recognize once you see the card. And there it is. It says 1955 Topps card, and that's the image. And they colorized it and made it look much different than it looks there in that black and white. I love how they put the red piping down his pants and really accentuated it on his collar and on his button space, and did his socks up. And it's just a beautiful card. One of the greatest hitters of all time, and just an awesome image. And again, you know, the guy that took the image of that photograph ended up with a Ted Williams baseball card. And that had to be a sense of pride for him. And he had to remember where he was perched and all that kind of stuff when he took that photo. This next image, some people give this card a lot of heat, and you'll recognize the image right away. But this is the image from the 1949 Leaf Jackie Robinson card. And just a great image. And here's the card side by side. And of course, again, they colored it in the book Relief that a buddy of mine wrote that I've gotten to know on Instagram. I'm going to have him on my show and do an interview with him. But he tells the story of these cards and how they were printed. And this card is obviously my 49 Leaf, and I take a lot of pride in it. The color on this one is exquisite. In a lot of these cards, the actual cardboard stock kind of comes through the color a little bit and kind of dulls it out. I wanted one that was really bright. I love Jackie Robinson so much. I just have so much admiration for who he was as a person and what he put up with, and the type of player he was in the face of hatred, that I really wanted a nice card of his to represent the man. But that's the original image. So it's a great image of him. A lot of people say, you know, he looks like he's high or he's drunk or whatever. He doesn't at all. Once you see the actual image, it's a great image of him. I'm sure the photographer was really pleased when he got done taking that photograph that day. And then we get into this one. Really fantastic image here. Action photo of Mickey Mantle. And I believe this is Tiger Stadium. And this is his rookie year. This was actually taken in 1951. And as you'll notice, there's the ball. And this was in the newspaper the next day, and he missed that ball. And this photo is actually cropped a little bit. I tried to get it on this size. And but you see all the people in the background, and it was a home run. He did not catch it. But in his 1956 Topps card, they did an early type of Photoshop and drew the ball in his glove to make it more dramatic. The other thing you'll notice in this card are these gentlemen right here. and they're not looking at the ball, which is really unusual. They're looking over this way, like they're noticing a bird or something. And if you'll notice, those guys are right here. They're on the left of Mantle in the actual photograph. So this guy with the tie is actually on this card twice. He's here and he's also here. So there was going to be a void right here by Mantle's head, because as you can see, there was a void in this picture right here. So they did an early deal like a Photoshop and took these three guys right here and moved them right here. So they filled up that void in the card image. That's pretty ingenious on their part, but that's why they are not watching the ball. They are staring off to the left. And so maybe you've never noticed that before, but that's definitely what's going on. A lot of people say this is their favorite Mantle image, that he looks so vibrant in this picture and all that. And by saying that, a lot of times you've never seen the actual photograph. And this is it. This is the photograph from that 56 Topps card. This one sold at auction. I should have wrote down how much, but the Type 1 is extremely expensive. But you can see how they did a lot of work on it and got the color. In my opinion, they colored his lips a little too much, almost made him look like he had lipstick on. But you can see his youth in this picture and all the promise that he offered. You know, in the 50s, he was the guy, him and Mays. Mays missed some time because of the war when he went over to Korea. And but Mantle, he didn't have to go because he was 4F. And at the time that this picture was taken, people were saying that he may end up not only breaking Babe Ruth's single season record of 61 home runs, but that he would possibly break his all-time record at the pace he was on. But we know because of health problems and him doing what he did to himself, he didn't make that. So, and that was probably unattainable anyways. But he lived with a lot of pressure trying to be that guy. But that's just a fantastic photograph of one of the all-time greats. The next one, you'll recognize this one as well, of the Mick. He's standing at the top of the dugout. It's a really young image. I think this is his rookie year because of that patch on his shoulder, on his sleeve. He's got his sleeves rolled up. He looks like he's pretty serious in this picture. You can see the guys back there behind him. I'm sure the really big Mantle card guys can probably tell you who everybody is back here. I can't. I don't know. He's leaning on his bat. Somebody back here is looking at, looks like a magazine. I don't know what it is. But it's really cool, though. You see their old stirrups and their old cleats and the tongue covering the shoelaces. But, of course, this is the image from his 52 Bowman. So, great image. They colorized it. They also changed the background and looks like steps, put a number 2 back there. So they were just trying to make it more interesting, I guess. But it's a great card of an all-time great. Nice young-looking Mantle from his 52 Bowman. And then this one right here, you're going to recognize right out the gate. And this is the image from the 52 Topps. And one thing you'll notice about this is the serious look on his face, but it's got the spots on the handle of the bat that you see so prominently in the card. And of course, the card was colored. So they put the blue for the background. You can see those spots on the handle pretty clearly with those black spots. And you don't see the barrel in the card image, but you do see his face. They did a good job on this. They changed it around a little bit with his teeth. They kind of colored it in a little bit, colored in his knuckles. And, of course, you don't see the New York on his chest because of the Mickey Mantle name plate there. But just a fantastic image, again, of a young Mantle. One of the most iconic, I guess this probably is. This and the T206 Honus Wagner are the most iconic card images in the hobby, I believe. But that's the original photo that made it all happen. And I'm sure, you know, that guy that took that photo that day was really proud of it. This next photo of Mantle from his rookie year, actually, you can tell he had number 6 on his back, not number 7. If you'll watch my Mantle episode, I tell the story about him changing numbers, and I tell the story about how and why he was number 6 and why Pete Sheehy, the clubhouse guy, gave him that number to begin with. It's a really interesting story. In this image, you can see the background. It's obviously in spring training, but this was the image on 3 separate cards. I have 2 of them. The third one being the Burke Ross. I do not have that one. But here you can see the 51 Bowman rookie card up next to it. You can tell definitely it's the same image. Now they did a little bit of artistic liberties in adding the light pole. You can see there is a palm tree back here, but they added more just to make it a little more interesting, and then added that light pole. That is not in the original image. But of course you can see a little dark line here where the number 6 would be. It's not as prominent as it is in the picture. Well, maybe it is. Just being in black and white, it looks a little different. So that's the 51 Bowman next to the image. Put that up here, messing everything up. And then this image right here that a lot of people don't realize, the 53 Topps image, is the same image as the 51 Bowman. It's just cropped. So you can see the same look on his face. The hat's in the same position. You can see the same amount of bill there. And he's got a prominent wrinkle here where he doesn't have it. The way they colored it makes his face look a little more chubby, in my opinion, but it's still great. But you can see it's definitely the same image. And again, the Burke Ross is the exact same image as well. The Burke Ross looks a lot like that 51 Bowman rookie card, but it's usually a little more like washed out looking. But also on this one, you can see they drew in the light pole behind his head. They changed the perspective of the horizon to his cheek instead of being down by his waist. So it's really cool to see how these artists did the cards inside their building there when they were getting these ready to be produced. So really cool image, again, of a young Mickey, and the way they did the card. And then the last one I'm going to do is the guy that's the all-time GOAT, the GOAT of all GOATs of any sport, and that is the Babe. You'll recognize this one right out the gate. Yankee Stadium, pinstripes. He's on deck over here. I'm not sure who that is. It kind of, his build back there almost looks like it could be Gehrig, but it's before they had numbers on their back, so you can't really tell. And as you can tell, they didn't even have the NY logo yet. But it's a great picture of Babe. And the one card that I have that corresponds to this is card 144 from the 33 Gaudy set. And they did a really good job of coloring it in, but of course they put him in a little triangle. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to represent other than it's dirt, and got just the colors and the artistic looking background to kind of accentuate the image. Now, what a lot of people don't really know, I didn't when I was younger, I did once I got into these images, but this image right here is also the red and the yellow 33 Gaudy. It's just blown up like this. So, you know, it's just about from mid-chest up on the image on those cards, unlike this one that is full body. So, and then you got the green 33 Gaudy where he's sitting down. He's kind of looking over his shoulder. But anyways, that is all these card images. I hope you enjoyed this. It was fun for me to get all these together and figure out how I was going to format this video. Hang out with me. I'll be right back. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. Some epic images that we've seen. If we've been collecting cards for a while, maybe you've seen them your entire life. Maybe it's the first time you've seen the image that it wasn't actually on a card. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'll do some more fun things like this. I've got some sets I want to show you. I've got more cards. We'll keep doing pickup videos. And then I've got one of my monthly storytelling episodes coming up. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. We'll let that be a surprise. But thanks so much for joining me. Again, hit that subscribe button and help my stuff get out there a little bit more often. And maybe you'll catch it on a regular basis. Thank you.